This is Ken here with MrTruck.com, and for this video series I'm partnering with Transwest Truck Trailer RV north of Denver, and what we're trying to do is cover trailering tips. We know how dangerous trailers can be or how intimidating they can be, so we want to give you some advice, some tips, some special features that may make it easier for you to get used to it and do all the fun stuff. So today I'm with a truck specialist. This is Larry Vickers, and he sells trucks at Transwest, and we're going to ask him some questions and see what kind of answers that will help you. So Larry, what kind of questions would you normally get from someone just coming and to talk to you and want to know which truck to get for their trailer?
Right. Basically, my clients come to me for three reasons, and the first one by far is the most important, and the one I get the most, is that I want the safest towing vehicle out there today. Is the main reason they come to me, and that is something that we offer. The M2 106, especially with the Summit Hauler conversion, is the safest towing vehicle on the market today. Okay. Second of all, is comfort. You know, a lot of my guys travel a substantial amount. That's what these are built to do, is to tow and haul long distances via a horse trailer. You know, the toy haulers like we have hooked on today, guys going to horse or livestock shows doing 12, 13-hour trips. Well, you do that in a pickup where it's kind of compact, you know, and not a lot of room in that as compared to what we're going to look at with the 106s, where there's tons of room. You know, you're stretched out, makes a 13-hour trip feel like you're going to the grocery store. So that's the second reason. And third is practicality, you know, and what I mean by that is it's not uncommon, as you well know, to see $100,000 pickup trucks, if not more than that. You know, and so you're going to go through 2 or 3 pickups as compared to one of the Freightliner 106. So the investment originally might be a little bit more, but if you figure dollars down the road, you're dollars ahead with the 106s. So those are the 3 most common questions I get in terms of what people are looking for.
Well, that's obvious, and hopefully they come in with some stats like what's the trailer weigh and all that.
Right, that does help.
Yeah, because we're here, this is a 14,000 pound GVW on this Cimarron. This is a toy hauler, and this is a 16,000 pound toy hauler from Cimarron. And they got the wings on the back, so they're the fastest trailers in the world. When we've used all these, David and I have taken them up the mountains and hauled 4-wheelers up and did some crazy stuff with them. And that's so nice to be able to take the family. And of course, you do horse trailers. Now this one will pull a 5th wheel or a gooseneck?
Right, that's correct. I mean, it comes with the 5th or the gooseneck ball already ready to go. We do get some of them in with the Hensley hitch. You know, that's the hitch that's on the airbags. They're designed for a 5th wheel, but either one of them can be converted to the other. You know, so if you have a need for a 5th wheel, get a hold of me and we can get that converted for you. That's not an issue at all.
Oh, that's awesome. Both of these trucks are 2021, and you can see the size difference when you look at them. This one here was made for smaller trailers, but you know, it's a nice truck. But it's, you know, it depends if you're hauling full-time, if you're doing this a lot, if you're not doing a lot, if you're hauling bigger trailers. There's a whole lot of safety factors involved in this. Now this one, you know, it's a diesel. It does have an exhaust brake, but it doesn't have an engine brake like the M2 Freightliner does. So there's differences in brakes, and we'll show you the brake shoes differences or not. I'm not saying this is not a bad choice. It's just one of the choices. So we're trying to help you decide for your size of trailer, your weight of trailer. You know, if you're looking for 20,000 pounds or less in a trailer, not a bad idea. Just depends how many miles you're putting on. If you're putting a lot of miles and you're in that 20, 30,000 pound range, you can't beat one of these M2s. So let's talk more about the differences. Okay, Larry, now I've always loved the visibility of these M2s. So tell me a little more about the nose of this truck.
Okay, we can do that. Well, let's start at the top and work our way down. There's actually 2,500 square inches of glass in that windshield. So what does that do for us? Well, that increases visibility substantially. So once we're in our travels, we can see not only what's coming at us, but what's coming at us from the side as well. So that's a huge safety advantage in itself, just the amount of glass that's in that windshield. Now, as we talk about the nose of the truck, this is actually made of compressed fiberglass. So that's compacted together. And I did visually see a huge advantage to this truck last fall. We had a hailstorm come through, and boy, the pickups, it just beat them to death. And walking through, you can even tell that anything happened on the Freightliner. So that's an example of the toughness and the durability and the way the Freightliners are built.
But Larry, it's got air horns. I always wanted air horns. That is so cool.
That does have an air horn in it, and once we get into the truck, we'll show you how all that works.
Oh, awesome. So let's look under the hood.
Okay. So underneath the hood is the Cummins 8.9 liter engine. It's coupled with the Allison 3200 TRV transmission. So that offers 350 horsepower and 1,050 foot-pounds of torque.
Well, that's cool. And you know, the torque is the big thing when you're towing trailers.
Right.
So these are the torque monsters. And this is those long life engines, and you got serviceability is great. It's easy. Of course, you got the hood open. You can see all that stuff. And you got the engine brake, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But bigger air cleaners, bigger oil filters, bigger every filter on this. It's made for the long haul.
It really is. You know, and if you notice, things under here are color coordinated. For example, like the engine itself is red. So when we see that, that's nothing you and I are gonna touch. That's for your Freightliner dealer to touch. But you see stuff capped in yellow, like here. And on the other side, the dipstick for we can check the oil, that's yellow too. So they kind of prevented ourselves from causing any damage to it by color coordinating and things as well. And yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you pop the hood of one of these diesel pickups anymore, things are so compressed and so jammed in there, you know, you can't do anything on your own truck anymore. And I'm a little bit old school. I like to do stuff on my own. So we still have room in there where we can do that sort of thing.
Yeah, because it's nice to be able to service your own truck, change your filters, and all those things under the hood. But I love a tip over hood too. So much.
Well, another
easier.
thing about this hood, if we are under there checking things and a gust of wind comes up, watch, it stops. It's not going to squish us.
Oh,
the only way to get it down is to manually force that hood down.
Well, tell me something about the headlights. These headlights are cool.
Now that's an advantage. That's one upgrade from the 2020 to the 2021 model, like this one is the headlights. And the main difference is everything's LED now, you know, up front. So that's one upgrade from the 21s over the 20s.
Well, that's awesome. I love LED lights. That's the big thing now in pickup trucks.
Right.
You got to have those so you can see those deer way down the road.
Way down there, huh?
Okay. Well, let's go inside.
Okay.
So, Larry, what are these little silver things behind the wheels?
Well, I'm very glad you brought that up because that is the one thing that the Summit Hauler conversion does that nobody else does. And that's a tire balancer. That's an additional drum put in. And the way that works is there's BBs in there with a little bit of hydraulic oil. So as you pick up speed and as you gain momentum, that balances the entire rotating mass. Everything up here is balanced. So that's going to do three things for us. Most importantly, it's a safer ride. If everything's balanced, it's safer. Second of all, it makes it more comfortable because you're not being bounced all over the place. And thirdly, recent data is showing that it prolongs tire life up to 45%. So that's one thing that you're going to get with the truck from us that really nobody else does, is to balance everything out.
Well, that's great. And those, you know, those will make your tires, like you said, your tires last longer, eliminates cupping. It does a lot of that stuff.
Correct.
And being balanced is much better. And these are these 14-ply tires. They're thick.
Correct.
So that's an expensive tire. You want to keep it balanced because
Right.
otherwise you're spending a lot of money. But these tires can last you, I don't know if they last 100,000 miles or whatever they do.
Right, right.
Balanced, right.
Well, you know, and then on that note, one thing that's very important is to make sure that you check the air pressure in the tires, okay? Because a lot of people overinflate. You know, they think a bigger tire will overinflate it. Well, we had a truck traded in a little bit ago that only had 25,000 miles on it. Well, the back tires were shot. And the reason is because the tires were overinflated.
Yeah.
Now you can go to any website, Michelin, you know, and they'll show you, there's a chart on there that shows you how much air should be in the tires. And I would sure recommend anybody that has this type of truck to visit those websites and educate yourself on how much air pressure should be in those tires.
Right. Well, it probably says it on the side tire, but does it say it on the door inside the truck too?
We'll have to take a look. I believe so. But various tires, you know, recommend different things. You know, Michelin might be different than somebody else. So I would sure recommend that they visit those websites to find out how much air should be in them.
That's good. You know, that's a 22.5, So it is a lot like a semi tire.
Correct.
And that bigger tire should last longer, should roll easier. All the advantages of having this versus a 17-inch tire on the 110 dually. Now this truck, we talked about 14 ply, 22.5-inch tire. Over here we're looking at a 17-inch tire and it's 10 ply. So you just think about how much longer the tires are going to last on the M2.
We've talked a lot about safety so far, and we're going to continue to do that because that is extremely important. One of the biggest advantages to the M2 especially the Summit Hauler conversion, is the braking system. There's a couple of advantages. One, it's air brakes, all right, compared to a hydraulic brake from a pickup. Well, why is that important? Well, let's pretend that we get a small leak in both of those. What happens on a pickup? That fluid continues to leak out until it's eventually gone and you have no brakes left at all. Well, let's compare that to an air brake. We get a slight leak in an air brake. We have an unlimited supply of air, so we can keep replenishing that until we get a chance to get that fixed. Second of all is the braking system in terms of size. Now, I brought a couple of things. This is the brake pad for an F350 right here. Let's compare that to the drum of an M2 right there. So when you're pulling one of these Cimarron trailers, as we have in our given scenario, and we go to press the brake, which would you rather rely on? That stopping you and your family, or this stopping you and your family? I really don't think I need to say any more.
Now Larry, besides the brakes, there's like an engine brake, which is different than exhaust brake in the 110 dually.
Right.
You know, that's just like sticking a potato in your exhaust pipe. You know?
Exactly.
It's closing
Just a cover.
butterfly. So we're going to go in and look at and watch you apply it. So how does an engine brake work?
Okay. Yes, this has a true engine brake in it. And there's two different levels. There's high and there's low. Okay. So once you're on high, that affects all 6 cylinders. Are all 6 being shut down? If it's on low, that affects half of that, so 3. So for instance, in that truck, if we're coming down a decline like in the Rocky Mountains right next door, you actually have 285 horsepower coming back at you. That's what's coming back at you to slow you down. So most importantly, you can't get much safer than that. Second of all, with that type of a system in there, you're going to prolong brake life as well.
So it's safe to say that you got dramatically more stopping power with an engine brake versus an exhaust brake.
You know, and that's the biggest thing right there. You know, you asked me what clients come to me. I mean, pickups can tow a lot anymore. I'm not denying that. They can. They're built to tow a lot. My question is, what's going to stop you? You know, this? See what I mean?
I know. I see that all the time because I'm a reporter, so I get to drive all these new stuff all the time.
Right.
I keep saying, yeah, you can tow 37,000 pounds, but can you stop it downhill?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. Cool. Let's go inside that cab.
Okay.
So Larry, what's all this stuff over here? You got tanks, you got plug-ins. What is all this stuff?
Oh, it's all kind of designed to make your life simpler. Okay. This is the block heater right there. So people in cold climates, you know, it's here over the winter time, you're gonna want to plug this truck in to keep everything warm. Now under here, this is a trickle charger. So if we are on those long trips and we're at night and we want to run either the DVD player or have the lights on, that assists the battery in maintaining power. Now in terms of the fuel tanks, it comes with 2, one here, one on the other side. Now when the truck's at rest, like it is now, that fuel's gonna balance itself out so it's even. But when you go to fuel your truck, you're gonna wanna do that independently. Okay, now on to the DEF tank. This is the DEF tank right here. That holds 6 gallons of DEF. And recent data is showing about 300 to 325 miles per 1 gallon of DEF.
Well, that's quite a bit. That's quite a few miles on the DEF tank. That seems to be what people worry about. Now we're just looking up here. Let me, is this open? Let me show you a question I have here. Look at the size of that fuel filter. Holy cow, it's like 10 times bigger than a pickup truck.
Yep, that's a lot bigger, and that's a fuel water separator located right there. And on this side, you can kind of see some of the things I talked about when we were on the other side in terms of the color code. See, there's red here. Right there's the dipstick to check the oil as well. One thing I wanted to mention while we're up here, okay? Now the batteries, I'll show you where those are. Those are towards the back of the cab. However, we all leave lights on. We all do things where the battery dies. I get that. And so did Freightliner as well when they designed the truck. So you can jump start it from right here. So that'll make life simpler, so we're not having to tear into things at the back of the truck to jump start the vehicle. You can do it from right there.
Awesome. the inside of this cab.
Okay. So a couple of things to mention here. This is completely air ride. Okay, so as we're going up and down the road, we're going to be basically riding on air. Now right here is where we adjust that up and down, all depending on your comfort level. And a couple of things we can notice from here, this pedal right here actually adjusts the steering wheel. See, it's telescopic and up and down. So we're going to be able to adjust that to where we want it as well. Now there's tons of air going through here. I mean, the cab, air ride, it's also designed, and I will show it here in a bit, for air brakes on your trailer. If your trailer does have air brakes, this truck is all equipped and ready to go. You can simply install the glad hands where you want them to be. So this is a comfort factor in this particular truck when we're putting on as many miles as we're going to.
Well, that's cool. So it's got an air ride system on the back axle.
Yes.
And you can, like you talked about, brakes that are air. You've also got electric brakes for horse trailers that have electric brakes, right?
Correct.
So
correct.
you've got that on the dash, and we'll show that once we get inside. But yeah, this is ready to go with anything you might want. Let's see, I'm out here looking for air. There's air pressure here in the door. There's a sticker that shows you how much air to put in your rims. Shows you the size of the rims. It's 110 pounds pressure cold. So that's cool. So it's just like a pickup truck. It has all the safety labels on it, so you know what you should be doing and some of the maintenance systems on it. Larry, this is a giant cab. Look at this. I could stack three of my hats in this thing.
A lot, yeah.
Oh man, and then the visibility. I don't know if you can see this up front. Larry, my goodness, the visibility. I can almost see the ground from up here. Look at that. That nose just drops right off. And you're up high enough, it's really usable.
Yeah, that's just another safety advantage for this particular truck.
Oh, cool. Now, what's this screen above your head there?
Okay, so the way the backup camera is hooked up is right here. So as you can see, and I like that a lot better than over here on the dash. So all you got to do is look up and see it. Now, we use what's called the Voyager system. That's the camera. There's a place back there you can actually hook up to 2 more cameras, and you can still see them up here simply by scrolling through them, or you can have them all up here at once. Some of my guys, put cameras on the side of the truck. The horse trailer and livestock guys, some of those put a camera in the trailer itself, but you can check all that out as you're on your travels in terms of that camera. Now a lot of them do leave it on all the time, even though the backup camera, especially if they don't have anything hooked up, because you can see what's coming up behind you as well.
Well, I like that. That's the thing with these other trucks. You can't. The camera goes on for 5 seconds, maybe 8 seconds, and then go off.
Right, and it's right here. We're not taking our eyes basically off the road. We're just glancing up to look at things. That's a safety advantage right there.
That's awesome. And then what's this part in here?
This is basically just another storage component located right up here. Now, as we go on over, camera there. Right here's the air horn we talked about earlier. So,
holy cow, we just woke the dead.
Well, you know what? It comes with 2 horns. The excuse me horn,
Yeah.
and get out of my way horn.
That's awesome. Well, that's cool. I love the steering wheel. Look at that steering wheel.
Yeah, it's leather wrapped as well. It was designed to make life easier for you, but it's extremely sharp and dressed up and really looks the part.
Cool. It's kind of hard to see all stuff in the gauges, but there's, semis have tons of gauges, and you got this wraparound dash. You can even have more place for gauges and switches. I mean, it's like a cockpit of a space shuttle.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a wraparound dash. I mean, that's what it's called, an advantage. So if we do need to hit the air dump valve, which is located right here, are a couple of things. We're not reaching clear across there. Everything is right here. And we can come down and we can kind of explain what some of this is. Cruise control located right there. I mean, a lot of it's self-explanatory, guys. Mirror heaters located right here. Now that's the regen button, and chances are, my customers will never ever use that, because what that is designed for is basically to clean out the entire exhaust system. Well, it's designed to do it automatically on long travels. Well, this is designed to go coast to coast. That's more for people that live in big cities and only going to use it to drive in big cities, and it'll sure notify you when you need to do that, and you press that button, and that basically cleans the entire system out. That's how that works.
Well, I'm wondering how that, if that was, I know I've seen even pickup trucks, they started adding those 2 of them, but if you're about to go up a big hill and it hasn't self-cleaned itself, would it be a good idea to clean it before you step up the hill?
Yeah, that's sure an idea there as well, but a lot of these are so fine-tuned to do that for you. chances are before you ever reach that hill, it's going to be cleaned out anyway.
Okay, well, I love everything being automatic, but yeah, that is so cool. And before we get back to this here is your engine brake?
This is the engine brake that we just talked about. So right now it's off. So you press that button up like that. We're on high, and simple down low, puts it on the low or the 3 cylinders.
Wow, then you sound like a semi going pop, 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 pop.
Popping down the road.
That's so cool. And then below that is the electric brake controller.
Right, that's our trailer brake located right here. If you follow me for a while, you'll know that trailer brake is a little bit different than what we previously used. This is actually the first truck that we put those in.
Cool, that's awesome. I know a lot of trucks are going that way because it doesn't take up much space, and
right.
it's pretty easy to use.
Right.
Now you've got so many switches here. My goodness, this is a space shuttle, huh?
No, it's sure not. It's very simple, and I realize the fact that a truck this size can be somewhat of intimidating for people that have never driven one, but it's so easy. I mean, the transmission is automatic and it's right here. R for reverse. Right now we're in neutral with the brake on, and D for drive. So it's very, very simple. Just press that and go. These 4, that's just windows, Yeah. This is the air dump. So what that does is let air out of the back of the truck. An example of when you would use that is when you go to hook up your trailer.
That'd be nice.
Let all that air out before you go to back it up. Makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
Now this light test button right here, that's something new. That's new in the 21s. So that's for pre-trip inspections, okay? So you can press that button and get out and walk around the truck and make sure all the lights are working before you take off. So that's a nice little feature that they added to the 21s as well. Now this here is just for the fan that goes into the back of the cab. That's all that does. So I mean, it may look like a lot, but it's sure not.
Well, that's
and there's
true.
our parking brake there. That's
Yeah.
all there is to it.
Yeah, so one of those is if you did hook up with area, you'd have a trailer brake
Right.
and then a parking brake.
Right.
That's cool. And then you can actually manually shift that transmission too.
Yeah, you can. And another thing, if you press and hold these buttons at the same time, that'll tell you basically how your transmission's doing, how much transmission fluid, that type of stuff is in there, just by pressing and holding those 2 buttons right there.
Well, I love information. The more stuff I can know about my truck and monitor, the safer I
Right.
feel. And that's exactly what this truck does. It gives you all kinds of information so you can stay on top of things and have a safe route. And I guess this is the radio.
Right, and we've upgraded that. That's the Stinger system. That's a little upgrade over the 20s as well.
Oh, that's too cool. The rest of this looks like a pickup truck. You got a console here that lifts up and all that. And that's just awesome. And cup holders, armrests. I love these seats. My goodness, these are
Well,
Cadillacs.
we've actually changed them up a little bit so they're wider than they used to be.
Yeah.
The seats are as well.
Well, yeah, I'm a wide body reporter.
I
I
hear
need
ya.
a wide
I hear
body
ya.
seat. That's just how part of life is. Now up here, this is for watching TV or
right,
what is?
that's the DVD player. It does come with 2 headsets as well. But yeah, that's the DVD player located right there.
Oh, that's awesome. And all the controls back there to keep the kids happy.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, this cab is spacious and visibility is wonderful. I mean, this is really the creme de la creme, the best you can get for for function and safety, and of course it looks cool. I always like these trucks, these M2s. You call it the M2 106. Is that a wheelbase number, that 106, or what does the 106 mean?
Well, there's 2 types. There's the 106 like what we're sitting in now, and the 112, which is the bigger engine one. And that's in terms of the length from the back of the cab to the back of the truck.
Okay.
There's 106 and the 112. It's a little bit longer, a little bit stretched out more.
Okay.
But that's how those 2 numbers come about.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, now I know. But yeah, this is cool. It's got this new design. Almost looks like some kind of a
Carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber. Can you see the carbon fiber, son? It's on the doors.
All around here.
It's everywhere. That's carbon fiber. That's the new thing. Everybody wants to go carbon fiber. This dash has it. It's just gorgeous. You'd have a hard time wearing this truck out.
Yeah, you would. I mean, they're designed to go 500,000 miles.
And you folks have new ones and used ones. You have
Correct.
all the
Correct.
combinations.
A little bit. I mean, the inventory right now is, as you well know, and regardless if it's pickups, as these type of trucks, just isn't out there. I mean, we're fortunate enough that we have a little bit of used and some new right now, so we can sure take care of you.
Well, that's cool. And then you're a Freightliner dealer too. You can service all this stuff.
Right. With certified Freightliner mechanics is what we have in the shop. you know, when you come in and purchase it, we can go ahead and kind of schedule your next service for you, especially if you're local. If not, you know, we'll go through all that, when you should service it next, and that sort of thing. So
yeah, and Freightliner is a big service network, so they can go back anywhere and find a Freightliner when they're on the road.
Exactly.
That's good to know. Well, let's go look at that back seat, because I always love that back seat. It falls into a bed.
All right.
Let's go look at that.
Okay, so as we take a look at the back seat, one thing that we will notice is that back seat does make down into a bed simply by pushing a button. And I personally checked with the DOT, Department of Transportation. This does meet requirements in terms of a bed. And what I mean by that is by how big it is. And to put it back up, simply push a button and we're back up to a normal seat.
That's really cool. I really like that option. Look at all this storage. My goodness, there's doors all over here. I could crawl back there and sleep.
You know, there is a lot of storage capacity on these particular trucks. One thing to notice, it does come with an air hookup located right there. So if you find yourself in need to hook up an air hose, you can sure do it right there. Now, the storage components are not attached. If you look into the second one, see, you can see my hand going all the way through there. So that just leaves more storage capability for you and your family in terms of being able to take stuff with you. Now, one thing to notice, you can lock these up for security reasons. So when you're done traveling for the day, you can lock all your belongings in there and make sure that they're secure as well. Another unique thing about the Summit Hauler conversion that some of the others don't have is this lining on top, and obviously that's just for protection. So it's important to us that your truck's going to last a long time, and that's one reason that we put the liner on it as well. Another difference between Summit Hauler and some of the competition is the way that the bed is made. See, that's aluminum. That's aluminum. That's not steel. So if you project the longevity and the lifetime of the truck, 10 years from now, this should look very similar to what it does today. There isn't going to be any rust.
I love Diamond Deck. I use it on everything. Then it's got tie downs in there too. I see.
It comes with 4 tie downs, 2 on each side, 2 here, and 2 on the other side as well.
And that's great to be able to plug it in the bed, not have the cord. I don't know if you can see the cord or not, Dave, but this cord attaches into the cabin. I guess that's an extra camera plug down there.
Right here's that Voyager system I talked about, located right there. As you can see with the scenario onto this Cimarron trailer, right here's where we would plug in the lights. This is the Voyager system that we just talked about in terms of able to hook up more cameras to it. You can do that right there.
Got a place to put in a bumper pull trailer.
Right, underneath this plate, right under here is the hitch and the light set up for a bumper pull trailer as well.
Cool. Oh, there's one more compartment over here.
Yep, there's one little one in there on the back.
Man, you got so much storage.
So there's plenty of storage capability with this truck.
And they've got lights inside there.
Correct.
Which is cool. And in here you got a little thing so you can climb up. You got a step. I love these steps. We were hooked up to 2 Cimarron Freedom Trailers. Freedom Trailers means they're toy haulers. You got all that big garage in the back. That's so cool. This one happens to have a slide out, the big one here on the M2 Freightliner. All the plug-ins, water taps, and what's really cool, they're made to go off-road. David and I have taken these off-road. But you got your sewer taps, your tanks are all underneath, tucked in tight, so you can go over those rocks and over those rough trails. This one here happens to have a bridge axle, so they're separated, which gives you a little better weight distributing for the weight in the trailer. But it's got a garage door on the back, by golly, and right here, this is your gas tank. So if you want to fill up your side-by-side, your Jeeps, whatever you're going to haul, you got onboard gas and a pump, which I really like. Big garage door. On both of these trailers have a big garage door in the back. And it's a big door. And you can see what's in there. You got folding couches that fold up. You got a bench. You got the generator up on top. Very usable. You fold the doors up, you put all your toys in there, and it keeps the gas fumes and everything from where you sleep in the other part. This is the shorter one that's on this 1-ton dually, but it still gives you a lot of space for your toys and where you're going to sleep. And you can also see here where the tanks are still tucked underneath there. So you can get them out of the way, out of the danger. And this one too also has a gas pump. I really like that. We always have to carry 5-gallon buckets when we go off-roading, but this is so cool. And then back here, of course, LED lights everywhere. You've got a wing up on top. That helps you a little bit blowing the dust off the back door. It might even help fuel mileage, nobody knows. But it's cool. These are those Freedom Trailers by Cimarron that are sold here with Transwest Truck Trailer RV. Okay, Larry, that was fun. We learned a lot.
That was.
Now tell us how folks can find you so they can ask you truck questions and see these trucks.
Again, my name is Larry Vickers. I work with Transwest Truck Trailer RV. We're located in Frederick, Colorado. I have no problem giving out my cell phone number. That is 970-370-4067. The work extension is 303-684-3404. Feel free to email me at larry.vickers@transwest.com.
That's awesome. We'll put that down in the description so you can always find it. And then you can come see Larry and ask him all those cool truck questions.
I'd appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Larry.
Thank you, sir.
It was
I appreciate
fun.
it. I enjoyed
You betcha.
it.